My name is Sanjay Parthi. I lead AWS Research Initiative across Amazon Web Services. This morning, it's really a pleasure to introduce Grace Kitzmiller. She has been in the disaster response program since a long time. She's doing very important work during this crucial period. Today, she will talk about AWS Diagnostic Development Initiative, what people call DDI. It's really a vital program which is important during this crucial period. Grace, please go ahead. It's all yours.
Great, thank you so much, Sanjay. And want to let everybody know I'm really excited to be here today to have the opportunity to talk with you about the AWS Diagnostic Development Initiative, and also just to thank you for spending some time with us to learn a little bit more about DDI and some of the AWS research programs. Before I dive into DDI, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the AWS Disaster Response Program and how we're involved with COVID-19 activities. The AWS Disaster Response Program launched about 2 years ago, really with a focus on working with AWS customers that are active across the disaster lifecycle. We've been spending some time with those customers to learn more about some of the biggest technology challenges that they face while preparing for, responding to, or recovering from disasters. And also how technology such as AWS Cloud Services can really help accelerate activities or make an impact on different activities that occur in each of those phases of a disaster. Our work has ranged from providing connectivity and edge compute solutions to helping develop data lakes, doing analytics, providing machine learning resources, developing visualizations, responder tracking and safety solutions, and much more. We really provide support in 3 different areas across people, information, and technology to really help our customers with their disaster response activities. For people, we have both a remote and deployable volunteer team that can support preparation, response, and recovery activities. Second, as it relates to information, we work on providing access or connections to information to support better situational awareness, visualizations, and other activities. And third, from a technology perspective, providing technology support, including access to AWS solutions, access to solutions provided by our public safety and disaster response competency partners, and then opportunities for innovation across AWS services. So looking at how the program has been active in 2020, we started off the year by providing some support related to the response activities for Australian bushfires, some work related to the magnitude 6.4 earthquake that happened in Puerto Rico and the ongoing seismic activities, and then more recently work related to responding to or mitigating the impacts of coronavirus disease or COVID-19. So how is AWS being used today with coronavirus, COVID-19? This slide just provides a snippet of some blog post headlines and headlines from other resources that really talk about public data lakes, development of hotspotting or trend and projection applications, remote work and remote learning solutions, chatbots, telemedicine. There are really many technology solutions being deployed on AWS to support work related to respond to or mitigate the impacts from COVID-19. Moving into the AWS Diagnostic Development Initiative and how AWS really became involved in this effort. I think when you think about vaccine and treatment development, a lot of that research tends to be fairly well or relatively well funded through scientific organization grants, government agency grants, private sector investment, or private sector companies that are actively developing those treatment and vaccine solutions. On the other hand, support for diagnostics development tends to be less well funded while being equally important. So within AWS, there were some conversations around, how could AWS help support these really important diagnostic development techniques and activities? And this is really where the DDI was born out of some of those conversations across the organizations. And it's really one way that AWS can uniquely support organizations to really try to speed our collective understanding of techniques that could be effective at quickly detecting and identifying or helping to identify patients that have been infected with COVID-19. The Diagnostic Development Initiative was launched in March of 2020, and it's really a global program to support customers who are working to bring better, more accurate diagnostic solutions for COVID-19 to the market faster. The initiative also has a goal to try to promote better collaboration across the organizations that are working on similar diagnostic activities. As part of this initiative, AWS is committed to an initial investment of $20 million through a combination of AWS in-kind credits and technical support activities. And these resources are intended to assist our customers' research teams in using the cloud to accelerate their work to tackle the challenges related to diagnostic testing and development activities. Some of the components of the program, again, as organizations are working on diagnostics, need access to reliable, scalable compute power, which AWS can provide, along with services like analytics and machine learning to process and analyze the large data sets that are being developed as part of their research in order to help them iterate quickly and go through more cycles faster. The program does have three main components. First is AWS promotional credits to support running tools, models, and other resources in the cloud to accelerate those research activities. Second is technical support from AWS consultants that have domain expertise in areas such as infrastructure scaling, configuring bioinformatics tools so that they can leverage more powerful compute in the cloud to accelerate those research activities, and support with activities such as applying machine learning techniques, doing analytics, or doing visualization to support research activities. The third component is a technical advisory group that will work to support collaboration and information sharing across the program participants. So who can apply to participate in the program? So the program is open to accredited research organizations, research consortia, and other kinds of companies that are AWS customers. The work that's being done that's described in the application must include some usage of AWS to support those research-oriented workloads. And the research should focus on testing that can be done at home, at point of care, or in some way to support much quicker turnaround of those diagnostic testing results. What are some of the considerations that we'll be taking a look at when evaluating applications? Well, first and foremost, does the research relate to development of diagnostic techniques for COVID-19? Next up, the stage of your research. While the DDI looks to support a broad spectrum of COVID-19 diagnostics research, understanding the stage of your work and how far along your research is will also be an important consideration. Next, research data sharing and promoting collaboration is an important component of this initiative. So your application should provide some insights into your thinking on this topic. Succinctly defined milestones. What are your research milestones? What are your assessment targets for understanding your progress? A clear outline of your expected flow of research will help us to better understand your approach and how you intend to measure progress. And then lastly, usage of AWS. How do you envision AWS services to be used in your research activities is also an important consideration. So if you'd like to find out more information about the program and how to apply, a few links here that could be helpful for you. First, there's a blog post that was published in late March, and there's a link here to that blog post. You can also directly hop to the Diagnostic Development Initiative application form. And lastly, you can just go ahead and search AWS Diagnostic Development Initiative, and you should be able to see each of these links pop up and also getting access to some frequently asked questions. This next slide just provides a quote from Steve Davis, who's a member of the WHO Technical Advisory Group and also a member of the DDI Technical Advisory Group. And this is where he's just talking a little bit about the potential impact that the private sector can have on advancing diagnostics tool development techniques and innovations. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at aws-ddi@amazon.com. We're happy to provide any follow-ups as best we can. And then lastly, just really thank you for spending some time today to learn more about the initiative. And back to you, Sanjay, for more information on AWS research initiatives.
Thank you so much, Grace. It's really a difficult time. That today I want to present what are the resources we are making it available for researchers during this difficult times. As you can imagine, this coronavirus has affected many sides in the population. This is a novel type. This has a crown-like spikes which affects the ACE2 receptor. It also attacked us some time ago as SARS back in 2003. We have some insight of it, but I'm highly optimistic that today we have tools like genomics, bioinformatics, and large-scale computing infrastructure, including advanced AI tools that we didn't have back in 2003. Together with these tools, as well as public-private partnership, I think we have a very good chance to defeat it. This is one of the programs we started. We are joining forces as part of public-private consortium spearheaded by the White House, the US Department of Energy, including government, industry, and several academic leaders. We are volunteering together, free computing cycle, as well as a lot of resources and tools like Grace mentioned. Researchers can now directly submit for any COVD-like activities, any research proposals like they do. We have a portal at Exceed site where you can submit your research proposal for any studies related to coronavirus. DDI Initiative, Grace already mentioned. This we launched. It's a global program that supports researchers to find diagnostic and solution and promote better collaboration across our organization. As part of this, we are committing an initial investment of about $20 million to accelerate the diagnostic research. Also, we have AWS Research Cloud Credit for Research that researchers can use for developing tools or any research activities. This is very similar to what researchers are used to in any National Science Foundation or NIH proposals. There are other tools one can use. For example, campuses. Many of you, recently I was talking with Stanford University folks, and they like to work from home, and what are the tools we can provide? So one of the tools is, for example, AWS Parallel Cluster. It's an open source cluster management tool that helps researchers and research institutions to run all the HPC workflows using the same kind of environment they have at Stanford or any universities using Slurm or the given set of scheduler. We also provide a container-based solution like AWS Batch. There is also a workflow what we call NICE DCV. It's a high-performance remote display protocol that provides researchers with a secure way of delivering remote desktop from any device over varying network conditions. HD Condor is another tool I have seen many of the research institutions across the world they use as their path system. One can also use those batch systems to elastically expand to AWS, so it feels like it's exactly as you have or as researchers have in their universities. This is available in GitHub. This tool was also recently used to elastically burst all the IceCube studies, leading to about 51,000 GPU resources across world. This was the largest simulation done in history using this particular tool. So one can use this also to AWS for working remotely and performing their studies. Many researchers ask, can I get my virtual environment sitting at home or at remote locations? The answer is yes. We are making available several of the tools. One way is Amazon Workspaces. This is exactly like the workspace you're used to. It's a managed, secure desktop as a service. Researchers can use Amazon Web Service to provision either Windows or Linux desktop they're used to in just a few minutes. And you can also do at a given scale. Other solutions are, for example, Amazon AppStream that can securely deliver desktop application to any computer. It works with university or researchers' IT environment or your given set of environment for your given collaboration. It scales on demand, and it's extremely useful for open source computer labs people do in universities. There are people who ask me, can I virtually collaborate in a remote video conference kind of facilities? We do that in Amazon internally. Also, we collaborate by what we call Amazon Chime. This is yet another way to enhance remote communication, but also collaboration across your collaborators. It lets collaborators meet and chat and do entire video conference within the organization or outside the organization using a single application. There are questions people say, can I have a set of application other than the desktop, something which I'm used to, like Jupyter Notebook or RStudio? So many of us use already what we call AWS Service Catalog, yet another way that researchers and organization can create a catalog of packages, and then they can distribute among their friends. It supports several of the tools that researchers use, like RStudios and Jupyter Notebook and so on and so forth. It's also available in GitHub, so one can download for free from there some reference architecture. One can use the same catalogs to stream a fleet of services. Like imagine an IT department want to provide remote desktop to hundreds of researchers across the campus. So they can use Service Catalog to run a fleet of service, hundreds of thousands of workspaces or AppStream 2.0 or Amazon Connect to provide exactly the same environment they have in their universities. So there are several tools we have on open data, on one of my favorite is what we call Globus. One can use Globus environment to collaborate with about 120,000 users across 600 identity providers with thousands of research institutions. We also offer several AWS AI and machine learning applications supporting popular algorithms. For example, people use in their labs like linear learning, K-mean clustering, XGBoost, image classification, also deep learning for a framework like TensorFlow, Apache, MXNet, and PyTorch. Researchers can also bring their own algorithms there and can work on it. We also provide, for example, one of the things I use quite a lot is Amazon SageMaker Studio. It's a fully integrated development environment for machine learning. SageMaker unifies all the tools needed for ML developments. Developers can write their own code, they can track experiments, visualize data, and can perform debugging and monitoring all in a very single integrated visual interface. There is yet another way one can also collaborate if you're writing code. I do that all the time. It's called AWS Cloud9 is another way researchers can collaborate by integrated development environment that lets researchers run, debug their own code in just one browser. It includes a code editor, a debugger, a terminal. It supports bulk of the programming language people use, such as PHP, JavaScript, or Python. While collaborating, you can with your team members, you can see each other in real time and can chat who's writing what code, what are the changes, and many other features. Several of you asked me, how do you get started? There's so many services. There are a huge range of tutorials we provided online, and one can start using of their own, including building their own data lakes or AI/ML applications. Some details can be found here. My favorite my personal favorite is a scientist guide to HPC. It's written by Zhuai Zhong, a fourth-year PhD student at the Harvard University. He did an outstanding job in putting several of the HPC work he is doing using AWS in this particular article. Please have a look. Many of you asked, how do I get engaged with you? We offer various ways academic institution can engage with us, including internship program, research award, Alexa Prize, Scholar, AWS Educate. So that here people can collaborate, both faculties and students can collaborate with us in this particular format. So we put together a set of resources. Please have a look in this article and let us know if anything we can do, especially during this crucial time. Thank you so much for listening.